Hello again. Thank you for listening to my video on finding a meaningful relationship. Now, I know this is a broad category and I'm just going to touch on some of the few main points. But finding a relationship, a good man and woman coming together in unity is an important thing to do in your life. But so many people can't seem to get it right. And sometimes it takes 2 to 3 times before they even realize what they did wrong the first times. So I'm just going to highlight a few points. Some of these apply to younger people, some of them apply to older people, but they all have relevance. And the first one is trying to find someone who you're attracted to. If you want to base your entire relationship on physical attraction or sexual attraction, your relationship is going to fail, and it's going to fail pretty rapidly, because after the newness of the physical intimacy wears off, you start looking at each other deeper, and it's like, we don't have anything in common. We don't enjoy being together unless we're in bed. And you lose anything you thought you had, because the entire relationship was based on physical attraction. And so many young people, that's the first thing they look for. They go out to a club or they go online. Hey, let's look for all the attractive people and click on them or hit on them because they're hot. But that feeling goes away fairly rapidly once you get to know the person. Sure, once in a while you get lucky and you find an attractive person who also has a lot in common with you and has a lot of things to offer. But I would say the largest percentage of relationships that are based strictly on attraction, they're going to fail because none of the other things were considered. Oh, they're hot. I want to date them. I want to have a relationship with them because they're hot. Well, that is extremely shallow. And it's, it might be fun for a little while, but if you're looking for something lasting, looks needs to be way down on the list. And you can find a really good person who's not that attractive, but they have all of the other qualities that you need. And some of those other qualities that you need, first one is someone who is goal-oriented and career-minded. Because you don't need someone who's just going to sit at home and let you go work and pay the bills. You don't need someone who's going to constantly ask you for money or try to mooch off of your success. You don't need someone who's going to be jealous because you have a good job and they don't. You need someone who understands that this country we live in is a capitalist country, and that means that you have to work, you have to get a career and grow in your career, even if it's doing something you love. And someone who has that long-term stability, because someone who bounces from job to job or doesn't want to work is only going to develop an animosity towards the other person who's working. And it's going to be a constant fight about money, about jobs, about all the little things, especially if the person stays home and doesn't do any work around the house. And it's just, goes up in flames from there. So find someone who is career-oriented, someone who's motivated, someone who has a desire to improve themselves. You also need to find someone who is kind-hearted, who has a good spirit. And the best way to find someone who is like that is to find someone who knows what spirituality is. Because if you have no clue about your place in the universe, you have no clue that you have a spirit inside of you. You've never tried to even connect, even if it's, going to church or meditating or practicing Buddhism. What the religion doesn't matter as much as that person made an effort to understand their spirituality and say, hey, there's something bigger than me, and I need to connect with that. And once they do that, they start their path on a road to becoming a better person. And they will help you grow, they will grow themselves, and your relationship will improve as you both improve yourselves. So, those are three main things that you should be looking for in a relationship. And if you strictly go for looks, then your relationship is going to fail. So find a good person. Find someone who's going to care about you long term. Find someone who's going to want to take care of you instead of just take care of themselves. Find someone who's not hung up on their looks and their vanity. Someone who's not consumed with control and with money. Someone who is well-rounded. They have an education. They have hobbies that they like to do. One of the best ways to meet a person is to go to a place that does a hobby that you like, and then meet someone who is also doing that hobby. So whatever your interests are, go to a meetup group or a place where they do that activity and meet someone who is also into that activity, because then you start off being like-minded. Hey, we both do this and we like to do it. And then you can see if it works from there. That's a starting point. That's not an end-all. It's just a starting point. But, when someone has that same hobby that you have, likes to do that same thing you do, it is a building block towards a relationship and something that you can, see if you can make it work. Because, some of the worst thing that happen to people is they rush into a relationship with some attractive person. They rush into marriage, and 2 to 3 years later, sometimes after having a child, they realize that they hate each other because they have nothing in common. They have absolutely nothing that they like to do together. And every day they're going their separate directions, doing one thing and doing another thing, because they don't have that common ground that they like to do, things they like to do together. It's just sad to see how little effort was made in establishing that relationship to determine if there's compatibility there. Oh, they were hot, so I wanted to go out with them. That's just a really sad thing. So take the time in developing a long-term relationship to make sure that this person is going to be compatible with you. I know some people will disagree, but if you have someone you really like, you've dated for quite a while, I recommend moving in together. Because people change when they live under the same roof. You get to see their dirty little habits. You get to see their idiosyncrasies, their quirks, the weird things they do at night. How badly they snore, or they spend a half an hour cleaning their toes, or whatever it is. It doesn't emerge until you're living together and you see how that person is. Hey, can this person compromise? Do we have to go to bed at 7 o'clock? People have habits, and they don't want to change those habits. And when people move in together, they see the different habits. Like, hey, I do things this way. Well, I do things this way. And is there a compromise that can be reached? So it's a good idea, if you found someone that you think that you're in love with, to move in and give it a go for 6 months. And if it works, great. If you're able to compromise and come to an understanding, great. You'll find out pretty quickly whether you are going to be together or whether you are going to be drawn apart. And a lot of people don't find that out until after they get married. But it's really a good idea to give that cohabitation a try before you take that next step of marriage. So, if you're looking for a relationship, whether in person or online, think about what you're doing. And think about where you're at. I mean, do you really want to meet a person who goes out clubbing because you're out clubbing? Because after you're, in a committed relationship, they're probably going to go out clubbing again and look to meet somebody else behind your back. So think about where you meet these people. There are a lot of online places that are not meat markets. Spiritual Singles is an example of an online dating site that focuses on spirituality. And there are others that are focused on some activity-based thing. So if you like to do certain things, you can go online and see if there's a dating site for people who are like-minded. One of my funny sayings is that if you look for a strawberry in a douchebag patch, you're not going to find one. So picking someone up at a bar and expecting that relationship to last for a lifetime is just delusional thinking, because that type of person is probably going to keep going out and keep looking for other people even after they're in a committed relationship with you. So, quick summarization. Don't just look for appearance. Some of the best people in the world are not the most attractive people in the world. If you marry a smoking hot person, you're going to be looking over your shoulder all the time because everybody else is going to be looking at them and saying, hey, I want to be with them. So just don't focus on looks. Find someone who is career-minded, goal-oriented, and who has a plan for their life, not just someone who wears the latest kicks and has a thumping car, because sooner or later life is going to come calling and the bills are going to come due, and clothes and shoes and cars are not going to pay the bills. You need someone who is career-minded and goal-oriented and has a plan for their life. Third, you need to find someone who you have compatibility with, someone who has similar interests to you, someone who enjoys doing the things you do, because if you marry someone and you have nothing in common, you're going to go in your separate ways and the marriage is just going to fall apart eventually, because you don't like to do anything together, so you don't spend any time together. And when you're not spending time together, you're out getting into trouble. You're out possibly flirting and cheating. So find someone who wants to spend time with you, doing the things that you both like to do, and your relationship will get better. And lastly, find someone who has a spiritual connection to the universe and someone who can help you grow. You need someone who's going to help you become a better person and you help them become a better person, and you can grow spiritually together, because growing together spiritually will make your relationship so much stronger than you can ever imagine. And that is the most important key to any relationship, is to find someone who's your soulmate. I wish you all the luck in the world. Namaste until next time. Thank you.